Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Messages from Venus. If you guys hear noise in the background, it's my heater, and I apologize ahead of time in regards to like disruptions. This is a client reading. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. I want to thank the person who purchased this reading so much for choosing me to tap into the energies of your life and for allowing me to read for you. I appreciate you very, very much. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you understand it, because sometimes the past life readings can leave a little bit more questions than answers, especially because those lives are so invisible and they're behind the veil. But these are the perfect times to get past life readings because the veil is thinning. Where this is the time where it thins. So a few things before I start the reading. I want to let you guys know, including the person that I'm reading for, that just because I use a card stock or cards or specific decks that have a theme or a mythos such as this one, which is the Egyptian mythos, doesn't mean that that's the only life that's going to come across during the readings. That's one thing. Before I chose when I chose the cards, the card decks that I was going to be using for your reading, I had the sense that the energy of an animal, which was the spider, was coming through. I see that you were connecting, or that you are connecting, not only because I'm giving you this reading, but you're trying to connect your life, or trying to connect the dots of your life. I'm here to tell you not to be ashamed of the fact that you're connecting the dots to your life in this point of your life. A lot of people in society fall for the pressures of having to find yourself between the ages of like 18 and 30, and I'm here to let you know that people find themselves every day, and that's absolutely ridiculous to tell somebody this is the only time that you have to find yourself, between the ages of 18 and 30, because the more you grow, the older you get, the more wisdom you obtain, and so the more you get to know yourself. And just like other people don't ever get to know someone 100%, then we don't get to know ourselves always 100% of the time. So try not to get frustrated with yourself because you feel like you're in a stagnant or a different place than everybody else in your life. Let's see. I'm trying not to like miss any of the messages. Also, the energy of the spider can mean a few things I feel like you might have been very much connected to the energy of the spider, but it's because in this life, meaning in your Egyptian life, or somewhere in the life where you were an Egyptian, or lived in this paradigm, or in this mythos, in this story, somewhere in this story, you are very much connected to the energy of the spider. And the energy, or the Kareem, or that godlike energy that you were connected to and that people worshipped you for, was invisible at the time, but yet very much connected to the energy of the spider, because it's kind of like the Holy Spirit. It's kind of like you weaving the spider web, not just for yourself but for the bigger picture, putting things together. And I feel like people venerated you, or were very much connected to you, because you're very, very important to your partner in that past life. And it just seems like in this life, you feel like you kind of like, in this physical life, like where you and I are right now, you feel like he's the partner that you've been looking for and searching for, and you, somewhere along the line or somewhere along your lives, you have lost that connection, you have lost that part of yourself, and you've been looking for him through different partners in different phases. I feel like this past life reading is trying to tell you just that, is that you're trying to find that divine energy outside of yourself, because you already know that you knew him from past life, and in this specific life you miss how open arms he was or how dedicated he was. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh well, you're just picking up that energy because of the Nefertari tarot, which has to do a lot with Ramses the second, if I'm not mistaken, and his wife, which is Nefertari, and he was absolutely devoted to her. But it's those same energies that I feel like you lived in that life, or in this specific life. So I'm gonna pull some cards and let's see what the cards want to say. Okay. Pull 4 cards here. And it's interesting because I feel like this card, I've seen this imagery surrounding like okay. All right. All right, so here. So even though you have like the wisdom of the pharaohs, the wisdom of Tahuti, the wisdom of a lot of people like to call him, well, we now in this current life, or however people want to connect to him, they call him Thoth, but his name is Tahuti. What I want to say is that that energy, or that omnipresence, or that godlike energy that I was connecting to, came out as Nut. And Nut is like, she's the moon, or she's the representative of the moon. She also gave birth to Isis, Osiris, Nefertiti, and Set. Those were her children, in whom Isis and Osiris, Nefertiti, and Set were the foundation of what humanity, or what some people speculate humanity is today, or whatever people think humanity is today in the Egyptian mythology. I feel like you have that energy of her, or that sense of source of her, of Nut, of Nut, or some people say Nut or Nut. She is the connection to like clarity, crystalline water, the connection to how things move and how things are shaped. She is the foundation of that. I feel like this card with the Tahuti card, it gives you knowing that that's the frequency that you came in. Because I'll tell you this, some people are like, oh, well, I was the reincarnation of so-and-so, or I have the energy of so-and-so, and it's just me on the planet. But that's not the case. We are essentially the different particles, the different energies that would make up this entity in this present life. Now, Tahuti is giving you knowledge of the darkness that Nut left behind, and the confusion that was left behind. And the confusion that was left behind by Nut, or Nut, however you would like to refer her as, is the fact that there was a breakage, or some sort of breakage of a lineage, in where You no longer wanted to be responsible and hold things down the way that she was holding things down. You wanted to explore other things, and somewhere along the line you branched off, and that is the responsibility or the shadow of whom Nut was, and that thing that you now have to face. The question is, how will you recuperate that divinity within yourself, and where you are the balance, you are the rock solid balance for everyone around you? How will you fix that is the question of the day. And because you're getting a reading, and the way that you're fixing it is that you are literally holding on to everyone's life, including yourself. And that's very important, because that will strengthen your relationship with the frequency of unconditional love. And that is who Nut was also. She was unconditional love. She was the epitome and the definition of what a female should represent, not just in households, whether you're gay, straight, or whatever the case may be, because a lot of people just are a little ignorant. So that's why I say it, not because my client is ignorant, because she's far from it, but for those of you watching, Nut is the representation of what the divine feminine should be, or is, in this life, okay? And I also feel like it's just a reminder that we don't always come from the ground. Some of us do come from waters, and the life or the tree of the energy of the river of life, as opposed to earth. This energy of Geb is telling you that, wow, it's telling you that he's the divine masculine, okay? He will be the representation of the divine masculine. And between you being Nut and this divine masculine, or this entity or energy whom you lost somewhere in the paradigm, or the existence of that life in this life, somewhere in between, is the fact that there were a lot of things that were left unsaid in that life. A lot of secrets that were left unsaid in that life. A lot of secrets that you were forced to keep for him in that life. And that's something that tore you apart, which is the reason why you guys both fell, because you couldn't handle it anymore. You could not handle it for one more second. It had a lot to do with children and the throne, and who was going to be responsible for the throne next. And there were decisions made in that past life that you did not sit well with you, and you preferred to just up and leave instead of bowing down to things that in your mind or at the moment you did not think were favorable for your children. Now, I pulled these two cards because these two cards represent the main situation, or what happened to you in that life, and how it's affecting you in this life. And so it's the foundation of, with the Four of Wands and the Five of Cups, excuse me, I like sneezed and yawned at the same time. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. The connection with that past life is that you actually were a team. You were connected, and absolutely connected. You just had to make decisions for yourself, in which you thought were best for yourself and your emotional well-being. And it's time to forgive that section of yourself. Every time you feel like something is brewing within you, and you feel like that disconnect of, I shouldn't have left, or I shouldn't have said this, or I shouldn't have said that, try to find something, whether that's a crystal, whether that's a tarot deck, whether that's a Bible, whether that's a scripture of some sort, that will give you the clarity to forgive, because that sensation, especially when nothing's happening and that sensation just comes up and it soars up, it's that entity or that energy from that past life talking to you, because she has not forgiven herself for walking away and for pursuing what she thought was best. She lost a huge portion of her life for the small things. So this concludes your reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you and everybody else in the next reading. If you would like a reading with me, all the information is in the description box. I have 25% off sale for this week until the 21st of June. So I hope to see you guys in cyberspace. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.